But let's run down a quick side-by-side in terms of how traditional brands are different from digital-first brands. So first is, a brand typically has an agency, depending on its size and strategy, works with a publisher to reach a consumer. Consumer has to go into a place of business, typically a retail location, to buy that product, to interact with that product. Well, that's not really how digital-first brands work. They go directly to the consumer. Well, how long does it take these companies to get their products into the market? Traditional brands, they have amazing teams. They've got a lot of expertise, but it takes a while to get that full machine up and running. Focus groups, research, strategy, planning. Well, digital-first brands, they do all that stuff, and I'm not making up these numbers. I've got the interviews to prove it. There are digital-first brands that can go from start to launch inside of 4 months. Why? Because they don't care about messing it up the first time around. They'll launch, they'll learn, and they'll iterate. Well, how are they touching their customer? We know traditional brands are doing it through retail locations. Digital brands, hence the name, all digital all the time. Traditional brands, and this is one of my favorite takeaways from this research. Again, they do amazing jobs with their creative. They drive a ton of insight from that. And if you're in this room and you're a brand manager, you should be really proud of the kind of work that you're doing. But digital brands sort of changed. They flipped the script on this. They're like, no, I don't care about all of that. I'm going to focus on experimentation and measurement. I'm okay going out with great or okay creative, because I'm just going to change it anyway. And then traditional brands, product and branding led, whereas digital-first brands are data and marketing led. And one of the key areas, one of the key deciding factors as to whether or not a digital-first brand is going to enter a vertical is they look for a lack of product innovation because they know they can differentiate with the marketing strategy. How do they differentiate with that marketing strategy? Data. So one of the quotes that I love is from Brian Cohen, who runs an agency in the US. He basically just says, hey, these traditional CPGs, they just don't have the insights to act like a digital-first brand. Now, that's starting to change. That's probably a topic for another presentation. Traditional brands or parent companies like Unilever have done an amazing job kind of bolting on some of these digital-first brands. But they lack that insight. The other key takeaway that we had when we looked at traditional brands and digital-first brands is the people. Where do they come from? Well, traditional brands, folks typically work their way up the organization, and if you can become a brand manager, that's got a ton of cachet. That's a cool gig. I have some friends that do it. They've shared their salaries. I encourage you all to do that. It's awesome. But with these direct brands, they're coming from data-driven backgrounds, consulting backgrounds, financial backgrounds, and they're very entrepreneurial. When we talk to these folks time and time again, they talk about their willingness to start a business and learn new things.